Hello, vinyl community. This is Randy. Last week I received a comment from a YouTuber named, the name of his page is, his channel is Carlos Matos Fan Page. I think probably his name is Carlos Matos. And he was commenting on an older video that I'd done showing some jazz records, and he commented specifically on the record that I was playing in the background for that video, which was this Three Pieces record, Vibes of Truth. Played in the background, and he said he liked that kind of music, and he also liked soft classic rock like Badfinger and Paul Simon, and he was wondering if I had any suggestions for him. So, this is a good one. This is really a jazz funk album, I think, from 1975 by this band called The Three Pieces. It was reissued in 2017 on Jazz Dispensary. I bought it new. I don't understand why people bring cats into their homes, because as you can see, they have a tendency to chew. But anyway, the record still sounds fine. So I figured I would, so Carlos said he was interested in any recommendations for soft classic rock. That's an interesting term. When I think of classic soft rock, I probably think of Chicago, Little River Band, Linda Ronstadt maybe, or Ed Sheeran maybe for newer people, or Whitney Houston. I don't think I have anything by any of those artists, but I have some music here that I think sort of falls into sort of that soft rock category. It's not really new wave or rock and roll or hard rock or anything. So we'll see. Maybe Carlos can take a look at these and see if any of these interest him. So I was going to do these maybe some that are like really well-known bands I figured everybody would know, and then some that I thought maybe were a little bit more obscure and maybe Carlos hadn't heard before. But then I thought to myself, well, whenever I start showing a record that I think is obscure, it turns out that everybody else has already heard it. So these are these are not really in any order other than alphabetical order. So some of them are, maybe well known to you, and some of them may be new. So the first one I have here is Association. I think this one should be pretty well known to just about anyone, but this is a great soft rock album. This is the greatest hits. So Cherish, Wendy, Never My Love, Along Comes Mary are the hits on here. This whole record is good though. Association Greatest Hits. American band, from the late '60s. I think from Los Angeles. They appeared at Monterey Pop Festival. I actually saw them. I've seen them a couple times on the Happy Together tour with the Turtles and some other bands, Grassroots, the Cowsills. They still sound great. Yeah, three of the guys who played instruments and sang were part of that band. Here's what this label looks like. This is a reissue on Friday Music from 2 or 3 years ago. I think soft rock, Aztec Camera, I believe, falls into that category. This is a band from England. This record came out in 1984. I think this is their second album. Highland Hard Rain was their first one. I have that one on CD. Aztec Camera is a band with, I think they had 4 members. They had these 3 people. And then Roddy Frame is the main guy. You can see his face there. There's what Roddy looks like. So, Highland Hard Rain, and then this one. So, I would call this soft rock. It's, guitar, bass, and drums, so it's not too complicated, but it's really soft and Still on Fire. The first song on here would be, I think, a classic soft rock song. So I'm going to try to leave some links. I was going to do some needle drops, but I've got about 10 or 12 of these, and if I did needle drops on all of them, it would just get to be terribly time-consuming. So I'm going to leave some links down below. So I'll try to leave a link for every one of these. Carlos said he likes Badfinger, so I figured I'd show this Badfinger record that I have. This is No Dice. Has this great gatefold sleeve. inside. Picture of the band there, Badfinger, British band from the late 60s, early 70s. I think they were one of the first bands signed to Apple Records. I know Paul McCartney gave them that song, one of their first hit songs, Come and Get It. This has what to me is, maybe my favorite song by them, which is No Matter What. The song is just a fantastic song. Carlos, if you haven't heard that one, definitely check out No Matter What. It's fantastic vocals, but then it just has this guitar part, this tone on the guitar is just really one of the best sounding guitars in any pop song I can think of, and yeah, I think you would enjoy that. Bobby Darin. Bobby Darin was an entertainer, I think, from the 50s. Splish Splash, I think, was his big hit, and well, he had some other hits too. Then in the 60s, I think he sort of adopted the folk music craze and did some folk songs. So If I Were a Carpenter is on here. Really beautiful song by Tim Hardin, and he does a wonderful version of it. There's also another song by Tim Hardin on here, Reason to Believe, which Rod Stewart did a fantastic version of it. This one is more, I think, like the version that Tim Hardin did, which is more of a folk song. So, yeah, Bobby Darin. This is a, I wanted to mention this is a mono, Atlantic mono, so jam on vinyl. Might be interested in hearing some Bobby Darin. Get around to it. Classics 4. This is a band from the 60s. I think this is probably, well, I'm not really sure about their albums and things like that, but the song Traces, just a wonderful pop song. I think it would fall into that mellow rock category. They also do Every Day With You Girl, which I guess was their hit song. I'm not sure if that was their hit or if they're just covering it here. They also do versions of Sunny on here. Yeah, Classics 4. That one, let's see, Imperial Records for that one. Yeah. Okay. Here's one you can't go wrong with. This first Crosby, Stills and Nash record. This is a soft rock classic. I mean, this would probably be a record that would be one of the first records called soft rock, maybe. It's really cool. Gatefold sleeve. The hits on here. I mean, the main one I'm thinking on here is a soft rock classic would be Marrakesh Express. Let's see what else is there. Yeah, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes is what it starts with. Yeah, Wooden Ships is on here. Helplessly Hoping. So, but yeah, Marrakesh Express to me would be a soft rock classic that would do well. I'll tell you, when I was thinking about these records, what I thought about, soft rock classics, these would be songs that if you worked in an office in a cubicle situation and, everybody sort of had to hear the same radio, these would be some songs that everybody could probably listen to and hear repeatedly, because I used to work in an office like that where there were cubes, and the people there chose to listen to the soft rock station. I tell you, I'm sure it was at least a year, I heard Whitney Houston singing I Will Always Love You every hour on the hour for an entire year. So, but I figured these are songs that could fit into a situation like that. So, Donovan Frank. Donovan is a guy who is a singer and a guitar player. He has a band. I don't know what genre he falls into. I don't think he's a jam band really, because the songs don't necessarily stretch out that long or anything. But I think he maybe would play. When I saw him, he opened for Government Mule, so I'm sort of associating him with jam bands, I guess. So here's the track listing on here, and this would be a perfect newer, well, it's not that new, it's probably 10 years old, I guess, record. 2008, 11 years old was when this came out. I think this is his second album. But yeah, this would be perfect soft rock. Donovan Frank and writer. This is on Lost Highway Records. This one's actually on blue vinyl. Nice looking record there. Yeah, I would just describe it as almost like Americana. You know, it's electric music though. Yeah, Donovan Frank and writer. Lord Huron, Strange Trails. This is a record that came out in 2015, and I bought this record. I didn't know anything about it. I bought it just based strictly on the cover because I just think it's one of the best album covers I've ever seen. Strange Trails. It's really not that much of a gatefold. There's what the band looks like on the back. I love the script here. Just really inside of it. This album, I think, would fall into that soft rock category. This is a fantastic album. This is sort of tells a story. It has some intertwining songs with some characters that go from one song to the next. The picture on the front of it really, I think, sort of just describes it well. It's yeah, it sort of tells like stories, and they're sort of mysterious and romantic. There's actually some very cool videos associated with this album. So, Lord Huron, they had a follow-up album too, which I also have. This first one I thought was the best one. So, oh yeah, 14 songs from the unknown is what it says there. So, yeah, it's kind of a mysterious album. Yeah, really good. Strange Trails. Try that one. That's on. Here's what the label looks like. I'm not sure what record label that is. I Am Sound. Name of that record label. Yeah, this came. It's a 2-record set. See, there's like a little phrase written down there at the bottom. These pictures sort of capture the atmosphere of the record, I would say. Yeah, Lord Huron. The Silos were a band that I heard. This is a record that I heard in a record store when I was living in Germany. I went in there and I didn't really necessarily have anything in mind to buy, and while I was browsing, they played this, and I bought it. It's an American band. I think it's just 4 people, and I would call this Americana, sort of like the last 2 records I showed. It's electric instruments and everything, but there's no driving guitars. It's not heavy rock and roll or anything. I actually saw this band when I got out of the Air Force and was living in California. I saw them in San Antonio. They were playing upstairs in like a really small place. It was a weird place to see them. It's like a coffee shop or something. Yeah, so I think Susan might be a somewhat well-known song on here, or A Few Hundred Thank Yous is my favorite song on here. And it seems like I may have seen a movie or maybe a commercial or something that used something from this album, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I think I would call that soft rock. Here's the label for that one. It is About Her Steps is the name of the album. Record Collect is the label. Here's one that I feel fairly safe that everybody knows, but maybe Carlos has not listened to Steely Dan. I'm not sure if he has or hasn't, but this would be classic. I mean, yeah, this would almost be the definition of soft rock, I think, for the mid-'70s. Maybe a little bit more challenging, possibly, than, Little River Band and maybe some of those others that I listened to, but, I would certainly recommend the whole Steely Dan catalog if you want to get that many. It's not that many records, and they're all well worth hearing, but, if you want to just get a sampler, this is fantastic. Here's the songs that are on there, and I think just about any song that you would want to hear from Steely Dan is on there. I think this compilation came out in '78. This is a reissue that came out in 2015. Well, yeah, 2014 was when this reissue came out. So, yeah, Steely Dan. Also came with some inner sleeve. Van Morrison, perfect soft rock, I think. It was hard to choose which Van Morrison album to use, but you know, Tupelo Honey is the name of the album and is also the first song on side 2, and it's a wonderful song. But really, the very first song on the album is Wild. Is it called Wild Nights? Yeah, Wild Night. And then there's Old Woodstock, You're My Woman. But Wild Night, I think, is a classic rock song that, you know, gets any party started, and probably a lot of people have heard that. I don't know why they put these stickers on there, but yeah, Van Morrison, Tupelo Honey. Did I say it? I love that. I love that cover. Him walking down through there with her on the horse, and yeah, that inner picture's great too. I thought about using no method, no guru, no teacher, no guru, no method, no teacher, or there's any number of Van Morrison. Moon Dance would have been perfect, but that's the one I chose. Vetiver. It's a band from San Francisco. They've been around for a while. I heard them when I was listening to the Bonnaroo broadcast from 2015, I believe. The name of this record is Complete Strangers. It's on Easy Sound Records. I love the cover. Yes, soft rock is really that's the perfect way to describe this. It's not indie rock. I wouldn't really call it indie rock. They're not a jam band, I don't think. Even though they were there at Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo is a festival here in Tennessee, a big music festival. It's every summer, usually in June, where they last for about 2 or 3 days, and they get a lot of pretty big bands to play there. And Vetiver probably played at one of the smaller stages, I would think. But yeah, I really liked what I heard on the radio when they were playing there, and this record is fantastic too. Very, very pleasant sounding. Yeah, there are I think there are some keyboards and things on here. It's not just strictly guitar, bass, and drums, but yeah. Vetiver. Oh, that was the last one. That was the last one I had for you, Carlos. So, yeah, you might want to try giving any of those. If any viewers out there have any suggestions for Carlos, so some soft rock, maybe some newer things that I'm not aware of, maybe list them in comments down there, and let me know what you think about these choices. And yeah, that's it. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.